saying more that has been blurred by Pakistan themselves, and action will be taken against both. Apart from a strong warning to Pakistan, Prime Minister also took a whale jab at the opposition here back home, because even today we had the UBT Sena and its members questioning Operation Sindoor, claiming that it was a failure. The Congress, meanwhile, has hit back at the government, specifically at the Prime Minister, accusing the Modi government of hiding behind the army's bravery. Pawan Khera questioned why India hasn't caught the terrorists or eliminated them, those who were involved in the Pahalgam attack, even going on to say that our forces were brave, but the Prime Minister was a coward. That's the allegation coming in from the Congress party.
22 मिनट में साथियों, 22 मिनट में उनको ध्वस्त कर दिया। और इस बार तो सब कैमरा के सामने की सारी व्यवस्था रखी थी, ताकि हमारे घर में कोई सबूत न मांगे। अब हमें सबूत नहीं देना पड़ रहा है, वो ऊपर वाला दे रहा है।
यही हल्की राजनीति. This is what we say. This is what we mean when we say that very low level politics, and that too straight. Troll in chief, divider in chief, the Prime Minister. अब ये ट्रोल की भाषा नहीं है तो क्या है? आपने तो खुद साबित, हमने नहीं, आपने नहीं, प्रधानमंत्री ने खुद साबित कर दिया जो अभी मैंने कहा। प्रचार कर रहे हैं ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में ये हासिल किया, ये हासिल किया। हम तो सिर्फ ये कह रहे हैं कि पहलगाम की विधवाओं के लिए न्याय हासिल किया या नहीं किया, सीजफायर में आतंकियों को वापस हमें सुपुर्द किया जाएगा, ये हासिल किया या नहीं किया। ये सरकार नहीं है, दिस इज लाइक अ ड्रामा कंपनी, एंड द लीड एक्टर who is not even a popular actor anymore is Mr. Narendra Modi.
Pallavi now joins us, getting us more perspective on this. Pallavi, the Congress party keeping its attack constant on the government, specifically on the Prime Minister. It was on S. Jaishankar all of last week, where questions were being raised, citing what S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, has said. Now they have trained guns on the Prime Minister directly.
Absolutely, and they are responding to the Prime Minister's two-day visit to Gujarat, where the PM, of course, came out with some very, very strong words against Pakistan, and also pointed out that, you know, India means business and Operation Sindoor is just a tip of the iceberg. But I think the Prime Minister's comments have been more emotional, not very political, no open attack on the opposition parties, but that subtle attack also on the opposition, because he says that this time everything we have captured it in camera so that no one asks us for proof. It's a very clear-cut dig at the UPA, at the Congress, I would say more specifically, because post the Pulwama attack in 2019, the Congress party had been asking for proofs of surgical strikes. Ki strike hua tha ki nahi, kitne log mare, what was the casualty on the Indian side. So this time round, the DGMO press briefings by the armed forces, the press briefings was very clear in terms of providing footage as much as they could provide for, and all the details of Operation Sindoor. So that is what the Prime Minister was taking a dig at the opposition parties, but the BJP leaders are making the larger point that is this the time to now take pot shots, because the world is watching. Multi-lateral party meetings are going on, and the delegation is traveling to every part of the country, where we are trying to tell the world, we are telling the world how India has been affected by Pak-sponsored terror, and why the world really needs to come together to ensure that Pakistan is taught a lesson. At this point of time, when your own people are going to question your government, your armed forces, it just weakens our resolve to take on Pakistan, and it weakens the mandate of this delegation.
Now we're seeing the kind of politics that had taken place over the delegation also, isn't it? Even as the delegations were leaving for their respective destinations, questions were being raised by the Congress party as to the inclusion or the exclusion of certain names that were given. At a time when some of them had already left and gone there, what was the kind of message that they were taking there? That's something that were cast aspersions on as well.
Oh yes, absolutely. So there has been a complete stark contrast, raising the same point both between the TMC and the Congress. The Trinamool Congress also objected to the government deciding on the names, and which is why they said we want to be a part of the delegation, but we'll get to choose. And finally, it was Abhishek Banerjee who was chosen by Mamata Banerjee. But the Congress's grudge was that you're choosing Shashi Tharoor, you're choosing Manish Tiwari, and frankly speaking, Poonam, they were not very open about the objection to these names. But we all know why. Because there has been a complete breakdown of trust between between the Congress on one hand and a Shashi Tharoor and a Manish Tiwari on the other side. So there were 4 names, and of those 4 names, only one of them was incorporated by the government, which is that of Anand Sharma. And therefore, the painting of the entire delegation of being politically motivated, Jairam Ramesh went to the extent of calling it a PR exercise. So the rubbishing of the delegation has come in officially from the Congress.
Right, Pallavi, do stay on with me because even as the politics over Operation Sindoor continues, the Prime Minister today during his address gave another strong message to Pakistan, and that was about choking their water supply. It was about the Indus Waters Treaty that is in abeyance, that India has put in abeyance and continues to do so. The Prime Minister during his address said that the government has decided to remove terror from India. In a stern warning, the Prime Minister said that Pakistan has been bleeding India since 1947 and that we won't tolerate this any longer. He said that we have kept the treaty, the Indus Waters Treaty, in abeyance, and Pakistan is sweating already. We've seen the kind of threats that have come to the fore from Pakistani quarters, from ministers within the Pakistani administration as well, after the Indus Waters Treaty was put in abeyance.
जो इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी हुई है, अगर उसकी बारीकी में जाएंगे तो आप चौंक जाएंगे। यहां तक तय हुआ है उसमें कि जो जम्मू कश्मीर की अन्य नदियों पर डैम बने हैं, उन डैम का सफाई का काम नहीं किया जाएगा, डिसिल्टिंग नहीं किया जाएगा, सफाई के लिए जो नीचे की तरफ गेट है वो नहीं खोले जाएंगे। 60 साल तक ये गेट नहीं खोले गए और जिसमें 100% पानी भरना चाहिए था, धीरे धीरे इसकी कैपेसिटी कम हो गई, 2%, 3% रह गया। क्या मेरे देशवासियों को पानी पर अधिकार नहीं है क्या? उनको उनके हक का पानी मिलना चाहिए, नहीं मिलना चाहिए क्या? और अभी तो मैंने कुछ ज्यादा किया नहीं है। अभी तो हमने कहा है कि हमने इसको एबेंस में रखा है, वहां पसीना छूट रहा है। और हमने डैम थोड़े खोल करके सफाई शुरू की, जो कूड़ा कचरा था वो निकाल रहे हैं, इतने से वहां फ्लड आ जाता है। साथियों, हम किसी से दुश्मनी नहीं चाहते हैं।
Pallavi continues to be with us, getting us more perspective. Pallavi, the Indus Waters Treaty and the decision to put it in abeyance was one of the first diplomatic strikes that India had taken, diplomatic decisions that India had taken against Pakistan. What have you gathered from your sources within the government? For how long do we intend to keep this treaty in abeyance? Because there have been several threats that have come in from the Pakistani quarters. They've decided to go and knock on the World Bank's doors as well.
Well, I don't think the decision would have been taken to call off the Indus Water Treaty without taking in all the legal factors. Clearly, India has done its homework very well. And the second point over here is that the multi-party delegation which is traveling is also going to drive home the point to all the countries that why this treaty had to be called off, because it cannot be business as usual. The entire purpose behind this is to try and teach Pakistan a lesson, to also make the larger point for people of Pakistan that if you keep on supporting and defending a government, if you don't resist, then you are the ones who's going to have to pay a price for it. The Pakistani regime has scant regard for the people of Pakistan. So much so, the money which is actually given out by, say, an ADB or by the IMF for development of Pakistan infrastructure is actually not utilized for that. It's clearly diverted to fund terror activities. So that is one. Second, I think the Prime Minister's words repeatedly on many platforms has made it very, very clear that this is not going to be over soon for Pakistan. They will have to learn to understand that, it cannot be business as usual. I mean, these are summer months. There's a sowing season also coming up, and agriculture is something which could be affected in Pakistan. Why could be? It is going to be affected, plus the scant water supply. So India is not in a hurry. It is going to be on a hold for quite some time. There is no question of India holding any kind of talks with Pakistan. And to use the words of the Prime Minister, unless one, they talk about POK, and second, they admit and give an assurance and a promise that there will not be another terror act against India.
Right, Pallavi, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. The political war of words, unfortunately, back home continues. But let's shift focus now in a significant push towards enhancing India's indigenous defence capabilities and fostering a robust domestic aerospace industrial ecosystem. The Defence Ministry and the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has confirmed the approval of the Advanced Multi-Combat Aircraft Programme. The Aeronautical Development Agency is set to execute this program through industry partnership. There is going to be a role of private players in this as well. This is important because it is a move towards harnessing the indigenous expertise, capability and capacity to develop the AMCA prototype. It will be a major milestone towards Atmanirbharta in the aerospace sector. This will also give equal opportunities to private and public sectors on a competitive basis. There is going to be soon a fifth generation fighter jet that India is going to be indigenously producing.
In a major push to India's Atmanirbharta approach in the defence sector, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has approved the execution model of AMCA program. AMCA program is India's fifth generation fighter aircraft program, which stands for Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft. Till now, we have seen all the developments in papers, documents and the news. But now the development will start on ground, because we are expecting an expression of interest in some days from now. It has been made very clear that this program, and in fact the development, will not be limited to public sector undertakings only. This time it can be an equal opportunity for both private industry and public sector undertakings. In fact, there can be a joint venture that would be working for the development of AMCA aircraft. We know that how in several exhibitions we have seen the prototype model and in fact the developments that have happened till now. The prototype of course is expected by 2027 and the actual aircraft and the deliveries are expected by 2036. We know that how DRDO is the lead agency and ADA, which is an arm of DRDO, is working on the entire project. Till now, officials say that timelines are on track and by 2036 we can expect that AMCA would be a reality. And in fact, the prototype will be seen by 2027. But having seen Sindoor, in fact the Operation Sindoor, we know that how critical and important this project is going to be for Indian Armed Forces. We know that how a fifth generation aircraft is something that Indian Armed Forces need at this point in time. And given the fact that Indian Air Force as of now have aircraft like Rafale, Su-30 MKI and Mirage, so they of course need a fifth generation fighter aircraft, and having one indigenous aircraft is an advantage in itself. At this point in time, while CCS has already approved the execution, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has further approved, and now it will be formalized that how public sector undertakings and private entities are coming together to work on the development of this AMCA program that is going to be reality for Indian Armed Forces by 2036.
Shifting focus now to Kerala, off the coast to which an environmental crisis seems to be unfolding. This is after an oil spill that continues to spread due to rough monsoon seas and shifting currents. The spill, drifting southeast, is expected to reach Alappuzha, potentially affecting up to 43 kilometers of the coastline. A total of 40 containers have washed ashore along the Kerala coast. The majority, 34 containers, were found along the Kollam coast, while 2 have reached the shores of Alappuzha. 4 were discovered in the Trivandrum district as well. With rough sea conditions prevailing, more containers are expected to drift ashore in the coming days. The disaster began when a Liberian-flagged cargo ship carrying oil and hazardous cargo capsized off Kochi while en route to the port. Defence PRO has now confirmed that the efforts to contain this oil spill to work around it are underway. The assistance of ICG assets, which is the Coast Guard assets, is also being used. As of today, no oil has made its way to the shores of Kerala, is the confirmation that has come to the fore from the agencies that are working round the clock in these operations.
We are at the Kollam beach in Kollam district. This is one of the most famous tourist attractions for the district. But here, one of the containers from the Liberian vessel which sank about 15 nautical miles from Alapura coast was washed ashore. So since then, we are not seeing a huge crowd here. The vessel, the container is empty, which has come from the vessel. In Kollam district, about 34 such containers has been washed ashore. Many of them are empty. This one is also an empty container. But here, what we are noticing is that many people are coming here to take a look at what this is all about, what the container is all about, though there has been warning clearly from the authorities saying that you should follow a distance of about 200 meters from this and do not touch it. But we could see that people were reaching here. But the beach is not really packed as it normally is. But people are coming in small numbers. Let's try and get some reactions from these people. ചേട്ടാ, നിങ്ങൾ ഇതിവിടെ കാണാൻ വന്നതാണോ? ഈ ഇതിന്റെ അടുത്ത് വരരുത്, 200 മീറ്റർ നിൽക്കണം എന്നൊക്കെയാണ് അതോറിറ്റീസ് പറയുന്നത്. പക്ഷെ അതൊന്നും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒരു ടെൻഷൻ ഉണ്ടായില്ലേ?
ടെൻഷൻ ഒന്നുമില്ല, പോലീസിന്റെ നിർദ്ദേശം അങ്ങനെയാണ്. പക്ഷെ ഇത് വന്നു നോക്കിയപ്പോൾ ഇതിനകത്ത് അടിയാ വന്നത്, അതുകൊണ്ട് അടുത്ത് വന്ന് നിൽക്കുന്നു. അത്രേ നിങ്ങൾ കാണാൻ വന്നതാണോ? അതെ. ടെൻഷൻ ഒന്നും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല ഇതിനകത്ത് അടുത്ത് പോരുത്? ഈ കെമിക്കൽസിന്റെ കാര്യമൊക്കെ പറയുന്നത് അതിനകത്ത് കെമിക്കൽ ഇല്ലല്ലോ, എല്ലാം പൊളിഞ്ഞ് എല്ലാം അതിനകത്ത് അടിയായിരുന്നു, അതെല്ലാം എടുത്തു മാറ്റി കഴിഞ്ഞു. ഇപ്പൊ ഓപ്പൺ അല്ലേ, അതുകൊണ്ട് ടെൻഷൻ ഒന്നും ഉണ്ടായില്ല. കാണാൻ വന്നതാണോ? അല്ല, ഇവിടെ വന്നപ്പോ വന്നപ്പോ.
So these two gentlemen say that they actually, the first person said that he actually came to see this when they heard about this. He's from the Kollam town itself. The other person said that he was nearby. When he came here, he saw this. They say that they were not concerned because this was empty and that is why they decided to just have a look at it. But the authorities have been warning the people, stating that more containers will come in the coming days. People shouldn't go near it because there are certain hazardous chemicals which are there. You never know in which packet that would be or whether something like that would be there. So that is the general warning that has been given by the authorities.
Neetu now joins us, getting us the latest from on ground there. Neetu, you're at the Kollam beach, from what I understand. There are several containers that have washed up ashore there as well. What's the status of the operations that are currently underway? If you could take our viewers through that.
Yeah, about 40 containers have been washed ashore in Kollam, Thiruvananthapuram and Alapura districts. Maximum number in Kollam being 34. We are at the Kollam beach here. Behind me, the visuals that I can show you is that one of the containers which has been washed up here, but it was totally empty. Now the salvage team of the company has brought in a crane here and they are trying to remove this from here. Those are the activities right now we are seeing on the Kollam beach. So in many places where it has been washed ashore, this is a priority right now after the customs has confirmed that there is nothing of hazardous nature or anything. It's a customs who has to look through this, and after that they have confirmed, then the salvage team will be taking care of this. In many places, especially in Shakti Kulangara area and all, taking these containers from that area itself is a huge problem because those are the coastal roads, small roads. So taking these containers from there by road becomes a problem. They are also exploring options on how this can be taken through the sea. But as far as the concerns are concerned, there is some relief today that has come in because as of this afternoon, there has been no oil spill that has reached the coast of Kerala. Nowhere in Kerala coast, the oil spill has reached. On 25th early morning when the vessel sunk completely. There has been oil spills that was noticed by the Coast Guard, which was monitoring. They were conducting aerial surveillance. They were looking into the controlling measures, the pollution measures at that time. So their efforts are ongoing. The Coast Guard, the Navy, the efforts are ongoing, and it is a great relief that the oil spill has not reached the shores. But the warning continues. The authorities continue to give the warning because they are concerned that in the next couple of days, more containers could be washed up ashore, especially in the southern parts of the state, in the southern districts. So they are concerned that if any of these hazardous chemical comes and if the people will go near it. Even today at this beach where we are, this is one of the major tourist attractions for the Kollam district, the beach. But on a day like this, rains are also recent, but this beach is not heavily packed. But at the same time, even though this container is empty, we can see that many people are coming here. They're just standing very close to the container, having a look at it. And when earlier you heard when we asked them, they were like, there is nothing in it, so we are okay. That's why we just wanted to have a look. But that is exactly what the authorities want the people to avoid.
Right, so strict instructions there coming to the fore from the administration. Even as operations continue there, it is imperative that the people in the area stay away for their own safety and also so that the operations can continue at a much faster pace. Neetu, thank you so much for getting us the latest from on ground there. But this oil spillage is seen as a possible environmental threat, and there are reasons for that. Oil can affect food sources for sea life. It makes it less available or of poorer quality. That's a concern. Oil coats marine animals. It disrupts their breathing, their movement. It's toxic if ingested. It can damage organs. It can damage reproduction as well. Animals that survive the initial environmental hazards may still suffer in the weeks and months that follow this particular leak, which is why it's important that it's contained as soon as possible. There's a threat to the ecosystems in that particular area as well. The coral reefs, the mangroves, the coastal habitats like Kerala's biodiversity-rich shores, they can suffer damage in the long term, and that's a big concern. Oil smothers plants, it disrupts food chains, it also impacts breeding and reproduction. For example, contaminating bird or turtle nests on shore are a concern both for the marine life and for the people who are visiting this particular coast as well, which is why there is a need to contain this as soon as possible. So how exactly can it be contained? How can it be cleaned or cleared? There are several methods that are used by agencies, one of which includes a technique called skimming. It involves removing oil from the sea surface before it can reach sensitive areas along the coastline. In situ burning involves burning a particular patch of oil after it has concentrated in one particular area, therefore getting rid of it. While another way is releasing chemical dispersants, which helps break down the oil into smaller droplets, making it easier for microbes to then consume it and further break it down into less harmful compounds. So all of this perhaps are being employed by the agencies that are looking after clearing this particular region, even as all of the preventative measures that need to be taken by those people, especially residing along the coastline of Kerala. Now with that, it's time for a quick break on this edition of Nation at 5. But a reminder for you before I go, we're introducing our all-new global business news channel, CNBC TV 18 Prime. It's your new destination for worldwide market insights and India's only premium 24-hour business news channel. It'll give you macroeconomic coverage and strategic intelligence. Tune in today.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Well, speaking of India's defence, we're getting updates that the Ministry of Defence is preparing a procurement order of 500 Invar anti-tank guided missiles from state-run Bharat Dynamics Limited, estimated to cost between 2,000 to 3,000 crore rupees. The acquisition is aimed at strengthening India's armoured warfare capabilities by equipping T-90 tanks with advanced missile systems. My colleague Meghna Mittal, Deputy News Editor, Money Control, is also joining us with more on this. Just put this into perspective for me, Meghna. What was the need identified for these anti-tank missiles? Is this first of its kind order? And also, of course, the strategy to buy this from India itself, made in India.
That's right. So during the Operation Sindoor, we all saw that how successfully the Indian Army that deployed indigenous high-tech systems and anti-defense missiles, which did see apparently lot of success during Operation Sindoor. Now, what the sources are telling us now to further strengthen the Make in India drive of the PSUs, the Ministry of Defense is preparing this procurement order for 500 Invar missiles. It's pronounced as INVAR, the Invar missiles. These are put on they're launched from the India's T-90 tanks. These are anti-tank guided missiles, and these will be procured from the Defense PSU Bharat Dynamics Limited. Now, currently, the cost of procurement is still under vetting. It is estimated to be between 2,000 to 3,000 crore. Now, we do know that according to the procurement amount, if the order amount is around 2,000 crore, it can be cleared by the defense minister himself. But if it goes up to 3,000 crore, it requires the finance minister's approval. And above 3,000 crore, it has to get the clearance from the union cabinet. So that it's currently still under financial vetting that what will be the approximate cost. But the estimation is still around 2,000 to 3,000 crore. Now, this PSU procurement is definitely pushes further the government's indigenous defense manufacturing under Make in India initiative that the government has always been pushing for. Now, this procurement of these Invar missiles from BDL thus definitely should be seen as a continuation of this indigenous and obviously the enhanced operational preparedness, or as well amidst the persistent regional security threat that is still seen in the region. So this is a big procurement order that will be coming through shortly. The Ministry of Defense is preparing this for 500 Invar missiles, approximately the order 2,000 to 3,000 crore to be procured from BDR.
Any idea, Meghna, what the timeline of delivery could be here?
The defense procurement, obviously, it definitely, it is not a short term. It is probably the procurement could start somewhere in the next calendar year. The order still has to be signed, but what is expected that the defense ministry is currently preparing the procurement order, so it should not be much time, but still the defense, the manufacturing, it has a time lag, so we should expect somewhere around the next calendar year.
All right, Meghna Mittal, thanks a lot for joining us with that. Well, taking that theme forward in a significant push towards enhancing India's indigenous defense capabilities and fostering a robust domestic aerospace industrial ecosystem, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has also approved the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft Program Execution Model. Aeronautical Development Agency is set to execute this program through industry partnership. This is an important step towards harnessing the indigenous expertise, capability and capacity to develop the AMCA prototype, which will be a major milestone towards Atmanirbharta in the aerospace sector. This will also give us equal opportunities to, this program will actually give equal opportunities to private and public sectors on a competitive basis.
In a major push to India's Atmanirbharta approach in the defense sector, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has approved the execution model of AMCA program. AMCA program is India's 5th generation fighter aircraft program, which stands for Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft. Till now, we have seen all the developments in papers, documents and the news. But now the development will start on ground, because we are expecting an expression of interest in some days from now. It has been made very clear that this program and in fact the development will not be limited to public sector undertakings only. This time it can be an equal opportunity for both private industry and public sector undertakings. In fact, there can be a joint venture that would be working for the development of AMCA aircraft. We know that how in several exhibitions we have seen the prototype model and in fact the developments that have happened till now. The prototype, of course, is expected by 2027, and the actual aircraft and the deliveries are expected by 2036. We know that how DRDO is the lead agency, and ADA, which is an arm of DRDO, is working on the entire project. Till now, officials say that timelines are on track, and by 2036, we can expect that AMCA would be a reality. And in fact, the prototype will be seen by 2027. But having seen Sindoor, in fact, the Operation Sindoor, we know that how critical and important.
Thank you for staying with us here on Nation at 5. In a bold move to confront the recent surge in terror threats, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah held a high-level meeting of his entire cabinet in Pahalgam today. The J&K government is attempting to challenge the shadow of terror by hosting critical meetings in iconic tourist spots, including Pahalgam, which was the epicenter of the attack on the 22nd of April. My colleague has been reporting from on ground, getting us more details of what exactly transpired. But we had the Chief Minister, Omar Abdullah, not only take to social media and post pictures of Pahalgam, talking about how tourism has taken a hit, but that is something that the government plans to revive. He also did address a press briefing a short while ago where he spoke of the challenges and the road that lies ahead. In fact, Ishan Vani spoke exclusively to Omar Abdullah. Listen to that conversation.
The place I am in right now, you wouldn't see it empty otherwise. This place, Betab Valley, got its name from the 1980s blockbuster Bollywood movie Betab. And ever since, this has been attracting tourists for a very long time. But the incident that we saw happen in Pahalgam has today made it silent. But the Chief Minister himself here, he chose to go out of Srinagar and Jammu to chair his cabinet meeting, an unusual move. What is the messaging in all of this for the people at large, particularly the global audience, the people in India and people of Jammu and Kashmir?
Well, first and foremost, it's a message to the people of Pahalgam, the people of Kashmir and the people of the entire territory of Jammu and Kashmir, to express solidarity with them and to sort of reassure them that this government stands with them, that the way in which they came out and in one voice condemned the attack in Pahalgam will not go waste, that we stand with them, and that attacks like we saw on the 22nd of April will not deter us and will not derail us from our stated objective of taking Jammu and Kashmir forward, taking the development agenda forward, and taking the agenda of normalizing Jammu and Kashmir forward. And that's why I'm here. But then to the wider audience in the rest of the country and beyond, the message is that Jammu and Kashmir is open. Yes, what happened on the 22nd of April should never have happened. It was deeply unfortunate. No words can ever condemn that attack enough, nor express enough solidarity with the families of those who lost their lives. But at some point we have to start looking forward. And that's what we're doing, both bringing the cabinet to Pahalgam today and all the administrative secretaries to Gulmarg tomorrow, is in our small way, perhaps using our soft power to send out a message that we would like tourism in Jammu and Kashmir to slowly start reviving.
We had once again started to realize the economic potential of tourism, particularly from the small household. As you give an example that a Somawala now had gotten Innova and he had taken loans. Do we have a roadmap ahead, particularly for these people who are downtrodden or we're trying to get into the economic activity of tourism? Because we don't have a lot of private sectors in Kashmir. So they were trying to realize the potential through tourism. I heard a story where in Gurez, people had got loans to set up tents, like 5 tents for youngsters. So for them, it's a little hard. How do you plan to basically come up with that?
There are two things we need to do. One, going ahead, we need to try to the best extent possible to insulate tourism from attacks like this. And I think one way to do that is to generally now continue to talk about tourism simply as an economic activity, to make it conflict neutral, to not link tourism to wider political messages. So that is going ahead, trying to ensure that these sort of things don't happen again. But also for the people that you talked about, people who've taken loans, people who are trying to become part of the growth story. Obviously, they need help, both from the J&K government as well as from the union government. So there is a conversation that has already started. The other day I was in Delhi for the Niti Aayog meeting. I had the opportunity to have a conversation both with the Union Finance Minister, with the Honourable Prime Minister, with the Home Minister and others. And we are sort of working out what best we can do for all those people who are involved in the tourism industry, who now find themselves in some financial distress.
As a Chief Minister who a lot of people listen to, what will be a message to the people who wanted to come to Kashmir or either have cancelled their plans or are waiting for some kind of messaging? Because when we speak to people around, they still don't know what's happening in Kashmir right now. So what will be your message, because you're the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir?
I think my only message would be that Jammu and Kashmir is not closed. Jammu and Kashmir, we would like to be able to welcome you, and we will do our best to ensure that you have a safe and comfortable stay in Jammu and Kashmir, and that is my solemn assurance to them.
So as you heard from the Chief Minister himself, that he is assuring them that we'll have a safe stay and Kashmir is peaceful as it was before, and one incident cannot derail the entire Kashmir Valley. With Bashir Lone in Betau Valley, Ishan for CNN News 18.
Ishan now joins us live, getting us more details. Ishan, we heard what the Chief Minister had to say, what the government plans to do. There's a twin message, one for the people of the country, that J&K is open, that terror cannot define what J&K stands for. There's a lot more that the Union Territory has to offer, and people must open their hearts and minds to it. Also to Pakistan, that life is going to go on as usual, irrespective of the amount of misadventure they try.
Well, absolutely right. Both of these things have to go on because it cannot derail people from going about their daily activities or indulging in economic activity. Now, GADP around 6 or 7% is tourism, which contributes towards it, and that has been hampered really badly. But what the government is doing, that not only the Chief Minister, which also he pointed out during our conversation with him, that he has spoken to the Prime Minister during the Niti Aayog meeting, that he is asked him that there is need for revival of these activities and development cannot be held hostage to whatever has taken place in Jammu and Kashmir, and that's why there is a call of revival from not only the Chief Minister, but possibly the centre will also push and rope in people to ensure the messaging goes that Kashmir is peaceful, and one of those incidents cannot deter people from visiting Kashmir Valley, because we have seen a lot of hue and cry on social media where people have said that this is giving up or giving in to the incident that has taken place, where exactly the plan is to hamper Kashmir Valley in this economic growth. And that's what the Chief Minister laid to us, that there is a need for people to visit Jammu and Kashmir. Yes, there is a security apprehension, but he is assuring that the security may not be with him, but the sort of activity that he has seen unfold on the ground, particularly the security setup that has been revamped, that he is sure that there wouldn't be a repeat of these incidents and security force are in full control of the situation. But yes, there has to be a larger push. Now, the government will try to reach out to the governments and also go out to the different parts of country to ensure that the people outside Jammu and Kashmir come and visit it. Not only that, also the development agenda, the development that they want to carry out in rural villages, in parts of India, other places in Jammu and Kashmir, is something that they don't want to hamper. And Pahalgam is one such place where you had a lot of tourism activity taking place around this time. And also the messaging that the cabinet is happening is in the face of terror, that we are not deterred and we are going to go forward with our daily routine, and holding of cabinet in Pahalgam, where the attack has taken months back, is something which is a messaging. The Chief Minister wanted to walk through the market, though he couldn't do that because of the adverse weather. But that was his messaging, that he wanted to go out, go casually around the place and show people that this is very normal and show solidarity. And one of the things that he outlined was that there has been solidarity that has been witnessed for the first time from the people of Kashmir, who have come out spontaneously in numbers and said that this is not in our name, and we are not only condemning this incident but also strongly denounce the sort of activities that have taken place in the recent times in Kashmir Valley. Now one has to see that what kind of steps do follow in from the centre, because there has been a meeting that has been held between the Chief Minister and the Prime Minister recently during the Niti Aayog meeting.
Right, do keep a track of what transpires next. Before the moment, Ishan, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front and that exclusive conversation with the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. It is time for a quick break on this edition of Nation at 5, but on the other side we have a special edition of Take 3 Shots. Don't go anywhere.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Well, speaking of India's defence, we're getting updates that the Ministry of Defence is preparing a procurement order of 500 Invar anti-tank guided missiles from state-run Bharat Dynamics Limited, estimated to cost between 2,000 to 3,000 crore rupees. The acquisition is aimed at strengthening India's armoured warfare capabilities by equipping T-90 tanks with advanced missile systems. My colleague Meghna Mittal, Deputy News Editor, Money Control, is also joining us with more on this. Just put this into perspective for me, Meghna. What was the need identified for these anti-tank missiles? Is this first of its kind order? And also, of course, the strategy to buy this from India itself, made in India.
That's right. So during the Operation Sindoor, we all saw that how successfully the Indian Army that deployed indigenous high-tech systems and anti-defense missiles, which did see apparently a lot of success during Operation Sindoor. Now, what the sources are telling us now to further strengthen the Make in India drive of the PSUs, the Ministry of Defence is preparing this procurement order for 500 Invar missiles. These are, it's pronounced as INVAR, the Invar missiles. These are put on they're launched from the India's T-90 tanks. These are anti-tank guided missiles, and these will be procured from the Defence PSU Bharat Dynamics Limited. Now, currently, the cost of procurement is still under vetting. It is estimated to be between 2,000 to 3,000 crore. Now, we do know that according to the procurement amount, if the order amount is around 2,000 crore, it can be cleared by the Defence Minister himself. But if it goes up to 3,000 crore, it requires the Finance Minister's approval. And above 3,000 crore, it has to get the clearance from the Union Cabinet. So that it's currently still under financial vetting, that what will be the approximate cost. But the estimation is still around 2,000 to 3,000 crore. Now, this PSU procurement, it definitely pushes further the government's indigenous defense manufacturing under Make in India initiative that the government has always been pushing for. Now, this procurement of these Invar missiles from BDL thus definitely should be seen as a continuation of this indigenous and obviously the enhanced operational preparedness, or as well amidst the persistent regional security threat that is still seen in the region. So this is a big procurement order that will be coming through shortly. The Ministry of Defence is preparing this for 500 Invar missiles, approximately the order 2,000 to 3,000 crore to be procured from BBR.
Any idea, Meghna, what the timeline of delivery could be here?
The defense procurement, obviously, it definitely, it is not a short term. It is probably the procurement could start somewhere in the next calendar year. The order still has to be signed, but what is expected that the defense ministry is currently preparing the procurement order, so it should not be much time, but still the defense, the manufacturing, it has a time lag, so we should expect somewhere around the next calendar year.
All right, Meghna Mittal, thanks a lot for joining us with that. Well, taking that theme forward in a significant push towards enhancing India's indigenous defence capabilities and fostering a robust domestic aerospace industrial ecosystem, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has also approved the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft Program Execution Model. Aeronautical Development Agency is set to execute this program through industry partnership. This is an important step towards harnessing the indigenous expertise, capability and capacity to develop the AMCA prototype, which will be a major milestone towards Atmanirbharta in the aerospace sector. This will also give us equal opportunities this program will actually give equal opportunities to private and public sectors on a competitive basis.
In a major push to India's Atmanirbharta approach in the defence sector, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has approved the execution model of AMCA program. AMCA program is India's 5th generation fighter aircraft program, which stands for Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft. Till now, we have seen all the developments in papers, documents and the news. But now the development will start on ground, because we are expecting an expression of interest in some days from now. It has been made very clear that this program, and in fact the development, will not be limited to public sector undertakings only. This time, it can be an equal opportunity for both private industry and public sector undertakings. In fact, there can be a joint venture that would be working for the development of MCA aircraft. We know that how in several exhibitions we have seen the prototype model, and in fact the developments that have happened till now. The prototype, of course, is expected by 2027.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of Take 3 Shots with me, Rahul Shivshankar and Zaka Jacob. And gents, let's quickly talk about, in the limited time we have, two subjects that we need to cover. One is the politics around Operation Sindoor and this entire credit game, who compromised Bharat and who didn't, between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Congress, or the BJP and the Congress. The other part is about Bangladesh. So before we touch Bangladesh, where do you stand, Rahul Shivshankar, on the Prime Minister saying...
I stand to the right of you.
Yeah.
And,
but I'm the one taking the right
stand. To the right of the national interest. And I believe that...
you're right of the right stand.
I'm right of the right stand.
You're what they call the loony right.
The loony right. So I have a problem actually with the manner in which the opposition has been publicly running a campaign against the government. And now it's quite obvious that it's a political campaign. I mean, when you say... When the Congress president speaks in an open stage, open platform, and he sort of addresses his own party colleagues and he says "chutput strike," and the Congress then backs it up, and there are other political parties from the India bloc that sort of dismiss what has been now internationally welcomed and heralded as a new paradigm in military warfare as a chutput strike. I think the opposition is now exposing itself as being churlish. And that's really where I stand. And I think that, you know, somewhere along the line, the opposition should introspect, because they are giving